Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today we are going to talk about why, if you are a growing entrepreneur, you absolutely need to start investing in not only yourself, but your business in order to reach that true growth. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, becoming a successful entrepreneur, hands down, can be one of the hardest things you are ever going to do in your life because when you're first starting, you don't have anything handed to you. You don't have that following, you don't have that business, you don't have those sales popping, and you are starting at ground zero. And when that happens, it can be a really hard thing to come out of. But investing in yourself and your business is how you're going to do it. Because when I first started, I didn't realize that. I was lost. I didn't understand that, hey, you have to take care of yourself in order for you to take care of this business. You need to run these certain things. You need to invest in certain things that we're going to talk about later on in order to really grow. So, when I mean I invested in myself and my business, I didn't just go invest in a couple of watches and just run one or two ads. No. When I mean I invested that personal time. I taught myself. I look at all the best equipment, all the best softwares, what to use, what not to use. I invested myself into that. And then when it came to the time to invest financially into those softwares, I made sure that I knew I was getting the right one. I made sure that I knew it was going to work best for my business. So that's what I mean by investing. Because when you're a growing entrepreneur, you are not only making these financial investments, but you're also going to invest your freedom and your time in order to make those dreams real. Now, when it comes to investing in your business, this can be done in a handful of ways, debating on what you want to see. If you want to see growth, invest in those ad runs. If you want better quality, invest in that computer. Because, for example, when I first started, I think I was working off a Chromebook. I wasn't able to run certain editing apps, I wasn't able to do certain things. It would take me 6 hours to upload. So I went and I invested. I got a MacBook. I got a better computer so I could run these things. And so it would not only help my business grow and move quicker, but it would also help me. Also, when I was looking at just editing apps and things to use, I was using free softwares. There's so many people that use free softwares, and yes, you do get the basics. You can get things done, but all the trends, all the things that are popping off, all the things that really capture attention are in those high quality apps. And yes, they can be expensive. They are pricey. That's why they're investments. But it is worth it because, like we said, it's not only helping your business, but it's helping you because you're saving time and then you're getting more, thumbnails, you're getting more effects, different, transitions, things like that, that you can now use on your videos to make better. So when it comes to these investments, make sure that they're not only benefiting you, but also your business. Now, let's say some of those investments you've already made. You already have this business startup. You've already got the technology ready. You already have that camera ready. You just need to grow. I don't care what anybody says. You need to be running ads on social media as a growing entrepreneur because right now everything is just so oversaturated. And if you're not running ads and trying to make yourself stick out, it is going to be very hard for you to be seen. So, first things first, when it comes to just the platforms you should be posting on, I've personally noticed that TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are the best three apps to run promotions because you really can run ads for 20, 30, $40, reach it out for about 7 days and really see growth versus these other platforms to where if you put anything less than 100, less than 200, you are not going to be seen. You are going to be swept under the rug, and these platforms and people are not going to reach you. So I've noticed that TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube are the best when it comes to just promoting overall. Secondly, when it comes to the things that you want to promote, make sure that it is engaging. Make sure that it's something that you want to click on, because there is a lot of ads where I will see about a podcast, but they just post a black screen or some animal running across the screen. That doesn't tell us anything about your podcast. That doesn't tell us about who you are, what you talk about, what you believe in, anything. So make sure it's engaging. Make sure you're promoting something that you would click on. Because if you're not going to click on it, more than likely nobody else will. So make sure those ads are engaging, they're reaching out to people, and that they really get the message off to why you are running this ad. Because at the end of the day, the whole reason you are running these ads are to bring people in, to show your business, to let them, see what you're doing, what message you're trying to spread, what products you're trying to sell. And if you just put a black screen with a message, that gives people nothing. And lastly, when it comes to your budget, do not put yourself in debt. Understand that Instagram and TikTok both hit you instantly when you run those ads. So if you have a $60 ad, make sure you have $60 in your account. Now with YouTube, they work with Google Ads, and they, I believe, bill you at every beginning or end of the month, debating on your bank. So let's say all of last April you ran, 3 ads. Be ready to pay $60 at the beginning or end of the month. So do not put yourself in debt. Make sure you're running these smart ads, because these ads are investments. Make sure that you're just staying on top of it. You're staying on the analytics, because let's say your analytics show that more people are going to your account at 8 a.m. in the morning. Don't post an ad at 8 p.m., because those people aren't going to get seen. Those people aren't going to see your post. So make sure you follow your analytics, make sure it's engaging, and make sure you have a good budget. Do not put yourself in debt when it comes to these investments and these ads. So at the end of the day, there really is endless ways that you can invest in your business. It can be through technology, it can be through software, it can be through these ads. But just make sure that you're on top of it. You're watching those analytics, you're doing your research. Don't go spend $1,000 on something that you know nothing about. Make sure it benefits you and your business. Stay on top of these things, because like we said, no matter what, if it's you or your business, there is something that can be improved or made better. Don't sell short. Don't just be like, all right, I've got everything. Now that's it. If there's something you can make better, quality, video, the music, the editing, work on it, learn on it, teach yourself, find ways to make it happen, because the only way your business is going to grow is if you grow and take it to that level. And when it comes to just investing in yourself, just really perfect your craft. Educate yourself, like we said, if you need to. Watch those YouTube videos. If you don't know how to edit, don't just put it to the side. If you want to be like these TikTokers and edit these different reels and you don't know how to, don't just be like, all right, well, I'll leave it up to them. No, go teach yourself how, because what you're watching me on right now can literally build $1 million business. This phone, this computer, whatever it is, hell, that iPad that you're watching, this literally can change your life. You just have to educate yourself and start doing it. Invest in yourself, invest in time. If you're overwhelmed, you're anxious, take a step back, because if you don't take care of yourself, you then can't take care of that business. So, as a growing entrepreneur, you need to take these risks and really make these investments, whether it's financial or personal. It is time to start running these ads. It is time to start boosting this equipment. It is time to start educating yourself and making this business grow. Stop the excuses, stop doing the what ifs and I can'ts, and start learning how. Change your life and make it happen, because there is no reason right now that you can't do it. The only reason why you aren't successful versus somebody else is because they actually applied themselves and went ahead and did it. They invested in themselves, they invested in their company, and they didn't make excuses. But with that said, today's quote is by Tony Gaskins. He once said, "Invest in yourself to the point that it makes someone else want to invest in you." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dowden Podcasts.